Welcome to the show. I'm Jason Whitlock, and I'll tell you why we just got more proof this will be Tom Brady's last year.
And I'm Colin Cowherd, and I'll tell you why people are crazy to blame Terry Francona for the Indians' loss to the Yankees last night. Speak for yourself on a loaded Tuesday starts right now.
Ow!
Yeah, I double that.
Tuesday. Love Tuesdays. Almost hump day. Hello and welcome. We're joined today by Fox NFL analyst Tony Gonzalez and Super Bowl champion Eric Davis. Let's start in the NFL,
where Tom Brady missed practice today, reportedly after re-aggravating a left shoulder injury he initially suffered during a sack by Carolina's Julius Peppers 2 weeks ago. The 40-year-old, doesn't look it, but he's 40, is getting hit at an alarming rate this year. And the Patriots have struggled more than usual. Whitlock, you've been on this. You think it's Brady's last year, right?
I do. Listen, Father Time, I guess you say, has a better record than the Patriots, has a better record than the Globetrotters, has a better record than the undefeated Miami Dolphins in 1972. Father Time, since the beginning of time, always wins. And it catches. 40 isn't the new 30. 40's always going to be 40. And those hits and sacks that Brady's are taking are always going to hurt regardless of the age.
The one thing I will say is I thought he had a couple years left, but you age fast. And I always use the example where I was at a steakhouse at 44 years old, and I looked down one day at the menu and couldn't read. And I was like, I could read yesterday, I can't read today. And that's how you age. I've talked to NBA players. They're like, in the NBA, you hit knees all the time, you're guarding guys. At 22, you miss a half. At 32, you go on the IR. Like, it's just different. It's the same knee injury. I think Tom's waking up going, I'm aging really, really fast. That's what it feels like to me.
Go ahead. He missed Wednesday practice. I don't think I did a Wednesday practice last 3 years in the league. And I was old. I felt old. I'm not playing the quarterback possession where they're nice and comfy in there. I think right now, Tom, come on, guys. He's still one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Right now, it's Tim, it's Aaron Rodgers, and Alex Smith right now for the three best quarterbacks in the league. He's still playing some good football. I got a feeling he's going to bounce back, and he will play for another 2-3 years. He already said he wants to play till he's 45. He's eating hickory nuts and sleeping in recovery underwear. He's going to be fine. He's going to be fine.
It ain't even Thanksgiving.
He's a football player that's been hit a few times, and he says, I need a Wednesday off. It's no big deal. It happens. I don't think this is the end of Tom Brady because he's missing a Wednesday practice in week 6 of the league.
He is getting beat up.
He's getting beat up. He's getting hit a lot, which means, okay, I might be a little sore. He's been hit more than normal.
He's been sacked more this year than all of last year.
And he's still finished the games, and he's played well. And he's been hit a lot, but that doesn't mean that he's falling apart. He's sore. He's been hit. We saw the tape. He's been hit.
Eric, I know you like the boxing game. He's absorbing body blows.
He's taking body blows, I know.
It's not even Thanksgiving. We're still in like round 3. When we get to round 8, those body blows, I'm just telling you.
And then the recovery underwear and all of that will kick in.
Another thing, too, this guy, I've always said, Tom Brady, I love him. There's something going on up here that's loose to me. And I say this with all due respect because 5 rings, the money that he has, the life that I don't even understand why he's still playing. What are you trying to prove? He is a rare, rare bird to continue to want to do this. So that tells me right now, I'll never underestimate him. If he says he wants to play till 45, if anybody can do it, it's him. Because why is he out there right now?
I think they're arguing it right in terms of why question him until there's absolute proof. But you and I, as journalists and as broadcasters, our vision is to see ahead of the curve. We're supposed to be ahead of the conversation. And so that's where I'm banking on come November and December, at 40 years old, the way he's getting hit, without Julian Edelman, like you pointed out early on, a security blanket, he's going to look 40 in December, and he might look 41 in January, and he will retire after this season because he's in denial, like you two are, right now. But Giselle and this beating he's taking this year are going to snap him out of it.
I'm on the fence on it. There's part of me that says it's the first time he's taken a real beating. And by the way, we got 7 quarterbacks out. He just missed a practice. So are we just overstating that, Tom missed Wednesday's practice? In the summer, I take Wednesday shows off. I'm not retiring.
It's a sign. It's like having gas. It's a sign. Taking Wednesday's practice off is like an indicator. It's
an indication. It's an indication that he has a sore shoulder. That's all. That's all it is.
It's gonna get more sore after this week if he keeps taking hits.
Welcome back. We got Tony Gonzalez, Michael Vick here. Let's move to Pittsburgh, where Ben Roethlisberger raised some eyebrows Sunday, suggesting that he might not, quote, have it anymore after throwing 5 picks against Jacksonville. Today, Big Ben addressed his comments and struck a very different tone.
You wake up Monday morning and you realize, man, I'm still one of the best in the world that do what I do. I'm going to have that confidence. I'm going to have that when I go out there Wednesday to practice, and Sunday when we go to Kansas City. I have that belief that I'm one of the best that's ever done it, the best that's ever played this position, and you have to have that confidence.
People are now wondering if your heart is still in it. Is that a fair question to ask?
I'll say 100%. I love this game. I love this sport. I love my teammates, the fans. I give it everything I have. Like I said, I'm going to put it behind me. Just because I put it behind me doesn't mean I don't care about it. I put it behind me because I'm one of the best in the world at what I do.
You still think Big Ben's all in?
1,000%. I think there's too much on his plate, as I said yesterday. I think that's the issue. I think that given this year of divisive political commentary invading football, if you're the quarterback of a franchise with the Pittsburgh Steelers history and your head coach is Mike Tomlin that likes to empower the players and put the burden of leadership completely on the players, Ben's probably in the toughest spot in football. Too much on his plate. His play is deteriorated, but is he 100% all in? No question about it.
So I went back and watched the tape after the loss where he said, maybe I don't have it anymore. Well, if you really watch the tape, he just threw 5 picks. He just got out of the shower. He's in a lousy mood. After about 20 minutes of questions, he starts talking really fast because he wants to get out of there and get in his car and go home. And somebody asks him something, and he goes, yeah, maybe I don't have it anymore. It's one of those times a pro athlete just wants to get out of the room, into his SUV, and go see his family. So I think we're taking this quote, and we're not looking at it, we're taking it out of context. I don't think you can play in this league and be half in. I just think it demands more, so I think he's in.
Yeah, you can't. And Ben, he's a prideful guy. That's the one thing I do know. I had the luxury of playing with him, and every day I watched him go out and practice every day and work extremely hard to be the best that he could be on Sundays. And like I said yesterday, he has guys in that locker room who's looking up to him, who believes in winning the championship. They still have one of the best offenses in the league, and he's still one of the best players around, so he has to take that into account. This will be a great turnaround. I think this will spark the plug for the Pittsburgh Steelers and their offense. This will get them going.
That's the first time I heard that, and I'm telling you, inside, I was feeling so good for him and so happy that he came back and said something like that. We've been talking about it. You can't say that as your Hall of Fame. And I said that earlier this week. As a Hall of Famer and the credentials that he has and what he's done over his career and what he means to that team, what he said after the game, I know you said it was out of, he's just trying to get out of there, but you still can't say that.
Right.
And I'm so glad that he came back out there and said something like this. It made me feel great, and it also makes me want to jump on the bandwagon for this team because that's probably the best thing that ever happened to him. You hit that rock bottom. You hit that rock bottom. There's only one way to go. And if he is who we think he is and who he's shown to be, I have no doubt that he's going to turn this season around and he's going to go out there and perform like the Hall of Famer he says he is.
Someday, I may do it tomorrow on my radio show. I'll show the video again at Big Ben. One of my criticisms of the people in our business, not you guys, but Jason and I, sometimes there's deadlines. Sometimes we're trying to fill space. I need 14 inches of copy today, or I need to fill a radio segment. If you really go back and watch Big Ben, a lot of times his comments are over the course of a 15-minute interview. It's like when Bill Clinton wrote a book, it was mostly uninteresting except one line about maybe Monica Lewinsky, and everybody says, that's the book. No, that's the only interesting thing in the book. The interview with Big Ben, he was being glib, and he was annoyed, and I think I'm to blame. I take it, I hear it, I don't watch the tape fully, and I think we made it into a bigger story than it was.
Well, I'm going to defend the media in this regard. Big Ben did come out of nowhere during the offseason and say, I'm thinking about retirement.
He did.
That wasn't people like asking him. So he introduced it into the conversation of, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. And so now he's got to live with the consequences of that. But I'll say again, I think he's all in. When you make that decision, you know, and particularly at his age and knowing the position, he knows what it's all involved in going all in on a season. You know you can't do it halfway. And so he is all in. I don't know if he can fix this, though. I don't. You had Le'Veon Bell sit out the entire training camp in a contract dispute. He ain't happy about being on the franchise tag. You got, a team that had Army Ranger who had no choice in his mind but to go stand for the national anthem, and they've been dealing with that controversy. Mike, this is not unlike, a little bit different, but when you all went through the situation in Philadelphia over the wide receiver, Riley Cooper, and all of that can really change the dynamics in the locker room when you're dealing with issues like that.
Well, I think, like I said, it's enough leaders in the locker room where they can, take this situation and turn it into a positive. They have to. The Steeler Nation is riding on it, and if it's anybody that can do it, it's Ben. But he doesn't have to do it by himself. It's still a long season to go. They just have to take it one game at a time. But I'm curious to see how the offense moves, and if it's, the play calling with Todd Haley, if it's Ben not calling, his own plays. What's the discrepancy here that's not allowing them to be efficient on offense? It has to be something.
Elsewhere in Pennsylvania, the Eagles just moved to 4-1 and are sitting all alone atop the NFC East. Philly has some people thinking Super Bowl, but the teams they've beaten are a combined 5-14, and they lost to the only good team they face, the Kansas City Chiefs. Cowherd, you just pissed off the entire Philly fan base. Are you buying the Eagles as the best team in the NFC?
Double down.
I think they are, but I did pick them. I'm not saying this to appease Philadelphia. I picked them to win the NFC East, and I said I thought they were the third best team before the season with a chance to be a dark horse Super Bowl team. We're going to find out Thursday, because I think the only two teams in the NFC that I don't see a huge flaw with are Carolina and Philly, and they play Thursday. Philadelphia, there's nothing they don't do at least reasonably well. Seattle's O-line's a mess. Packers, you can control the ball on the Packers, 17-play drives. I think Atlanta and Dallas defensively don't make you uncomfortable. I think Philly and Carolina, they can do it on both sides, mostly at a high level. They've got flaws, but I watch Philadelphia. I'm like, what don't they do at least reasonably well?
I'm not buying them yet. I need some more evidence and proof. 5-14, the record of the four teams they've beaten. They played my Kansas City Chiefs. I watched that game. Chiefs were a better team than them. I still have questions about Doug Peterson. They lost Darren Sproles. I'm not ready to go all in. Again, I still like Atlanta in the NFC. I like Carolina better than them in the NFC. Green Bay, I like better than them in the NFC. And we'll get to this later, but I'm still not convinced the Rams aren't really good. Yeah. So I need more proof from Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm. I'm like on the fence with this one. I love Philly. I love what they're doing, but they started out 3-1 last year, and then it kind of took a turn for the worse. 4-1 right now. They've done some good things. I still just don't know about their vertical passing game. They've lost some guys, but they're still at the top of the league in third downs, which is an opportunity to keep the other team off the field, so they're controlling the time of possession. And, like I said, they're 4-1. So, they're on a week-to-week basis with me as far as what I see. And, Carson has done some great things, but they have to continue to show some consistency, if you ask me.
Outside of Kansas City, that's most of the league. Even New England now, I'm week to week. Yeah. Kansas City's the only team I'm in.
It's the NFL stock exchange. What are you going to do about it? I mean,
up and down.
Up and down. I like the team. A lot of momentum going for them. Momentum is there's no momentum like momentum. I heard that in Atlanta. And I believe that, though. When you get it, because I've been on some teams before where you get on a roll and you start to believe and you start playing, everything is clicking and clicking and clicking. But I love the quarterback. Can't tell me he's not the best young prospect in our game right now, I believe. And I think the future is going to be bright for him. And they're going to go as he goes, and he's playing some really good football right now. Are they the best team in the NFC? No, I think they're maybe a top 5 to me. The same teams that you guys like, I like those teams right now. Until you go beat those teams, I can't get on board yet.
I'll say this, a great stat in the NFL, if you go in the last 20 years, teams that are good on third down are good. Because the third down conversion rate is a symptom of many things. You get a push from the O-line. You're generally good at the line of scrimmage. You're well coached. You've got playmakers. You can get tough yards. That third down number for them, that's a real number. The other thing in Vegas is yards per play. Like if you can get 5.5 yards per play, you're intimidating people. You're running over people. There's a couple of numbers that tell you the Rams are good and the Eagles are good.
They've had the benefit of the Giants, Chargers, Cardinals, and a Redskins team I'm not sold on. Listen, I know this isn't the topic. I think Carolina's going to expose them Thursday.
You may be right.
I think if I had to bet today, Cam Newton is going to ball again on Thursday. And I was someone that was trying to toss a Hall of Fame jacket on Carson Wentz last year, 3 games into the season, and you know, reality sunk in. So I'm kind of like Mike. They 3-1 last year, and it kind of fell apart. Look, Carson Wentz is the most athletic quarterback Philly's had probably since Randall Cunningham. Mike, that was a shot at you.
Jesus.
All right, welcome back. Michael Vick still here, and we're joined now by the founder of the Big Lead, Jason McIntyre. Let's move to Aaron Rodgers, who, according to odds makers, is the favorite to win the MVP this year, ahead of 2 other guys having great years, Tom Brady, of course, and Whitlock's personal friend, Alex Smith. They hang together. So Rodgers has dominated comparisons with a Chiefs quarterback ever since Smith was drafted ahead of him back in 2005. But as you see there so far this year, Smith is actually ahead of Aaron in completion percentage, yards per attempt, yards per game, passer rating. So Whitlock, is Smith this year actually outplaying Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, 5 weeks into the NFL season, I think the facts speak for themselves. He's outplaying everybody at every position in the league 5 weeks in. Can he sustain outplaying Aaron Rodgers over the course of 16 games? That might be tough, but the man is motivated. He's playing for the right coach. He's got the right people around him, from Kareem Hunt to Tyreek Hill to Travis Kelce to Eric Fisher, who's now playing like the #1 overall draft pick at left tackle. It's a complete offensive football team, and the dude is motivated and focused. Is he better than Aaron Rodgers? No. Is he outplaying him through 5 games? Hell yeah.
What was Reggie Jackson's nickname?
Mr. October.
Alex Smith is the Reggie Jackson. Every year, Alex Smith is great.
Every year.
No, Alex Smith.
11 TDs, 78% completion.
How many years, September and October, the weather, there's no sleet, no rain, no wind. An average-armed Alex Smith every year fools us. And then post-Thanksgiving, it gets cold. You ever been to Kansas City in December?
No, I've never been to Kansas City.
And it's cold, and it's windy. And Alex Smith comes down to what he is, which is a good quarterback. But I'm not falling for it. I like him. You love him.
Game manager. Go ahead, Mike.
I'm all in on Alex Smith this year. I've been so impressed with what he's been able to do based on what he's done in the past years. He's won 26 of his last 30 starts. I think that's big, but the supporting cast around him, I think that's really the reason why he's having the success that he's having this year. And on top of that, the defense, he's getting the ball back, he's getting great field position.
Yeah.
It always helps. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is one of the greatest that we'll probably ever see, you know, play the quarterback position next to Tom Brady. But his defense isn't that good. If Kansas City can continue to give Alex Smith chances and opportunities, they're going to score, they're going to make plays.
It should be noted, when Alex gets the ball at the 40, you can use the whole playbook. You can't when you get the ball at the 8.
Yeah. He's
throwing a better deep
guys,
ball.
I'm sorry. He's not outplaying Aaron Rodgers. I mean, we don't even know that Alex Smith is the best player on his own team right now. Kareem Hunt leads the league in rushing. He is the closer. In the fourth quarter, Mike, what's Alex Smith doing? He's handing off to Kareem Hunt, averaging 8 yards a carry in the fourth quarter.
That's it.
What is Aaron Rodgers doing in the fourth quarter? Winning time. 6 TD passes in the fourth quarter this season. He's beaten 3 top 10 defenses this year. Alex Smith has only beaten one. I know people love Alex Smith, but the weapons, Kelsey, best tight end in the game with Gronk injured. Tyreek Hill, maybe the fastest receiver, and Hunt, who we already talked about. I mean, I just think if you take Aaron Rodgers off the Packers right now, what's their record, Whitlock? Do they have a win this year?
Listen, I think you've made some excellent points because they would probably be 0-5 without Aaron Rodgers. And so, look, Aaron Rodgers is more valuable than Alex Smith. And more talented. Alex Smith, through 5 games, has outplayed everybody in the league. And again, you know why they're handing the ball to Kareem Hunt in the fourth quarter? Because they're protecting the lead that Alex Smith has given them through the first 3 quarters. If you go evaluate his first 3 quarters of play, a lot of times he's been carrying the Chiefs. It's been his plays that have put them in position to be protecting the fourth quarter lead.
And I will say this, it's about being able to sustain in this league for 16 weeks and through the playoffs and durability. If Aaron Rodgers has to continue to carry this team week in and week out, it's going to take a toll on him. And hopefully he don't have the injuries that, has plagued him over the years. But Alex Smith, has a better chance with the surrounding talent around him of just coasting through the season, getting into the postseason, which is most important. And then we'll see what happens.
Have you guys seen that Packers offensive line? It is a mash unit. He has been sacked 19 times, tied for most in the league. Alex Smith is, these guys wearing a tuxedo back there in the pocket. He's totally clean.
It's funny because you were the first in the media in the country, I thought about a month ago, you were like, man, Brady's getting hit a lot. Rodgers is right behind. Rodgers and Brady have been smoked this year. What was that game about 3 weeks ago where I think Aaron was on the road and it was uncomfortable to watch? Aaron's 6'2". Like, Aaron's not it was the Bengals game, and we were like, wow. So, to your point, and Michael's, with all those assets, you can do a lot of handing off in Kansas City till December.
Aaron Rodgers handing off to a 5th-round rookie.
He's handing off in the fourth quarter when he's already locked up the game in the first 3 quarters.
He is your friend.
Yeah. Tell him about you and Alex Smith.
You're closer to Alex Smith than me. That's sad. You defend him more than me.
Let me tell you what I said at the beginning of the year. Drafting Mahomes was the right thing to do. This dude is built for this kind of pressure. He's a high-character individual playing at a high level. He's going to embarrass the Chiefs for drafting that quarterback. They could have drafted a player that could help him this year.
Welcome back. Let's move to baseball and the ALDS, where the Yankees pulled out a win last night to pull even with the heavily favored Indians. The series now moved back to Cleveland for a deciding Game 5. Their manager, Terry Francona, now faces criticism for starting Trevor Bauer last night, who looked terrible on 3 days' rest. Generally, pitchers get 4 or 5. All right, Whitlock, should Francona be criticized for that loss?
No, because you'd also have to give him credit for pitching Corey Kluber in Game 2 so he would be available for Game 5. Last night was about 14 strikeouts and 4 errors and 6 unearned runs. Last night was about the players, maybe, for the Indians choking.
They're hitting 173 as a team.
Yeah, this is about, can the Indians handle pressure? We saw them melt last year in the World Series up 3-1. They had a 2-0 lead in this series, and now here they are facing a Game 5. They got to put the wood on the ball, and Terry Francona's not in charge of that. They can't be making 4 errors and giving up 6 runs in October in playoff baseball. Should the players be blamed for this going 5 and for blowing Game 4? Hell yeah.
Baseball people, I mean, we criticized Madden last year in the World Series, and he won, and we're killing Girardi, and now Francona is maybe the best manager in baseball. I think sometimes baseball people forget the regular season's different than the postseason. In playoff baseball survival, it is using closers for 2 innings, not 1. It's using Justin Verlander as a middle reliever. It's using stars in supplemental roles. I just think playoff baseball, it's an island. You're trying to win a game. You're asking star players to sometimes do different things than you would all year, and you're juggling stuff, and I think it's just harder to manage.
Listen, not every move is going to work. Trevor Bauer didn't work. I don't know if people were criticizing beforehand, oh, this is a horrible decision, and the analytics do say it was a bad to pitch him on 3 days rest, but not all moves work. I've tried some moves that haven't worked, and it's not my fault.
Of course.